Hello, guys. Welcome back to another exciting episode on the show. Control or be controlled. A podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Today's guest is Adam Glezer, one of Australia's most recognizable consumer advocates and the founder of Consumer Champion. Since launching Consumer Champion during the pandemic, Adam has helped everyday Australians recover millions of dollars from some of the country's largest corporations, all on a no-win, no-fee basis. Through his work, he has challenged airlines, insurers, banks, retailers, and major companies by helping consumers understand their rights and fight back against systems designed to make people give up. Adam has been featured across major media outlets including ABC, BBC, and 9 News, The Current Affair, and The Guardian. He has also organized the federal parliamentary motion and appeared before Senate committees advocating for stronger consumer protection laws. His mission is very simple: helping everyday people understand that they are not powerless when dealing with large corporations. Today, we'll talk about consumers' rights, corporate accountability, how people can fight back, and why knowing the rules of the game can change the outcome. Adam, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Adam. So,
Good,
Adam,
good.
we are one of Australia's most recognizable consumer advocates. For people who might not know what a consumer advocate is, can you please explain or break that down for them?
Somebody that advocates, or that what's the best way to put it? It's somebody that has a cause in mind, and that really does whatever they can to make sure that they get to their end destination. Which is it's normally advocating for something is normally is normally to protect, whether it be a vulnerable group of people, or you might be advocating for tennis courts to be put. So you're kind of pressuring the government or the relevant people who are the decision makers. You're effectively lobbying them to go and get things in place to make necessary change.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. So let's talk about Consumer Champion. You are the founder of Consumer Champion. First of all, why did you venture into being a consumer advocate, and what led you to being the founder of Consumer Champion?
So I've been helping people when they've had issues probably for 25 years, and over the pandemic we had some problems with some flights. We were going overseas for my sister's wedding, and the travel agency that we booked with tried charging us a $300 per person fee to cancel our flights, even though we weren't the ones that cancelled, because obviously with COVID everything got cancelled because nobody could travel anywhere. And I thought that was very wrong. So I said that I want the money back. I gave them 1 week to do the right thing, which they refused to do. And then I started up a Facebook group called Flight Centre Class Action Australia, which was to get other people that had similar issues to all come together, power in numbers. And I ended up, after about a week of trying, or week and a half of trying, I managed to get it into the newspaper. I had no media contacts at that stage. I got it into the newspaper and onto TV, a television show here called A Current Affair. And I had 5,000, 6,000 people join my group overnight. And from there, I started dealing with other travel agencies. Then I went out into broader travel issues. And then over the last few years, I've started doing, things in every industry known to mankind. Insurance, cars, veterans, people that anywhere where people are vulnerable, and where they're getting the rough end of the stick, I'm always happy to go in and bat for them to make sure that they have a fighting chance to get justice, the little person.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam. That was wonderful, being the consumer champion. So, since launching this consumer champion during the pandemic, you have helped everyday Australians recover millions of dollars from some of the country's largest corporations. Can you give us like a practical illustration of one of a client, or you help to recover some money from largest corporations? Just a practical description of how it happened.
No, yeah, sure. I may as well. I'll go back to the early days when one of the travel agencies, somebody had paid close to $100,000 for a family of about 15 people to travel overseas, and where normally the travel agent said to them, sorry, we are unable to help you because we're not holding your money. That's the suppliers, the airlines, the hotels and whatever else. And what I did is I went and I called all the airlines, I called all the hotels for them, even though as the customers are not meant to speak to them if it's booked through a travel agent because it's they're not the ones that made the booking. I've got a way of talking to them because I guess I've done it so many times where I get them to talk to me and I explain to them the fact that, sometimes a travel agency will try to take advantage and hold the customer's money. And I found out exactly who was holding what. I went back to the travel agent and I got them about $70,000 back quite quickly. With this, it's about not giving up. That's one thing. You obviously need a skill set to be able to do such things, like to get to get the results. And you need to know. You obviously need to know what you're doing. But most people give up because they think that it's a large corporate that they're going up against, and what chance do they have? Where what people really need to know, and this is something that surprises a lot of people, is the big company has a hell of a lot more to lose than you do. So they're always going to have more to lose than you do. As the customer, they've got their reputation on the line. A lot of these companies spend millions of dollars a year on their reputation. And if that's broken, whether it be through social media or if you're lucky enough to get mainstream media on the issue, that's the number one nightmare for these companies. And the only issue that you've got as the customer is that you're battling against the big company, and it can be very frustrating and a waste of time. But financially, outside of what you've already invested, you've really got nothing else to lose. So it's a matter of being persistent, to be honest, being a real pain in their ass, and making sure that you don't stop like a dog with a bone. You don't stop until you get justice and what you deserve.
Okay, thank you so much. Definitely, big corporations have more to lose. But thinking about it, Adam, I think don't you see most people try to get these corporations in trouble? So do you see that side of it in your work, whereby consumers try to get corporations in trouble?
What do you mean by get them in trouble? So to try to get justice, or to try to lie to get something that they're not entitled to?
Yes, they try to lie to get something that they are not entitled to.
Okay. Now, that's where I draw the line. So with this, I cannot make it clearer. I do what I do. I've had a lot of people come to me because they think with my skill set, I'll be able to get them a result that they're not entitled to. Anyone that does that, I tell to bugger off straight away. That's not what I'm about. I am about, quite simply, getting justice for people that have been screwed over by companies. I am not about going and getting people something that they're not entitled to. So when they do that, not only do they deserve nothing, there could be penalties that are actually put in place for that type of behaviour, because that is certainly the other side of the equation. And companies do get people that try to get entitlements get things that they're not entitled to. And I do not agree with that at all. I think that that's morally corrupt, and it gives the average customer a bad name.
All right. So thank you so much, Adam, because I know people like to do this type of things, find a way to lie to probably for their own personal gain. So let's talk about the no win, no fee basis model. So what made you back yourself enough to won't start the consumer champion? And this model, what's it about?
Okay, very, very, very simple. And I believe I've even got my contract on my website. I deliberately have a no win, no fee model because everybody that comes to me, nobody is in a good position. They've all been ripped off by somebody, or they claim to be ripped off by somebody. And I'm not going to add to their pain by charging them a fee if I'm not successful, because I'm not a lawyer, I'm an advocate. Now, what I do is if I am successful in getting people a result, so let's say, for example, they owe $10,000, I charge 30% plus GST. So GST in Australia is, whereabouts are you based, mate?
South Africa.
In SA. I spent some time in Cape Town. Loved it.
I'm from Cape Town.
It was lekker. With this, sorry, just got the Baba. Sorry, just repeat what you were asked again. I got sidetracked when you said South Africa with the one Afrikaans word I know.
Talking about the no win, no fee basis.
Oh yes. So quite simple. If I'm successful, I charge 30% plus GST, which is a tax over here that goes to the government. So effectively 30%. Effectively 30%. I charge to people of what I get them back.
Okay, so because when I saw it first, I thought is about you only get paid after you win. That was what I thought originally.
That's exactly what it is. It's only after I win. So if somebody is owed $10,000 and I get $10,000 in the bank, I make a charge for them of $3,000 plus the GST, which is about $3,300 in total, which means that they keep $6,700. Effectively 2/3, 1/3, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. So, how did you see this as, let's say that customers needed to protection during the pandemic? What did you see during the pandemic?
I saw a lot of desperate companies. I saw a lot of companies that were trying to take advantage of people wherever they could. Wherever they could take people's money, they would always be taking people's money. And a lot of some of them that was in their regular character and some of them out of character, they were just doing the wrong thing. And when a customer wanted the money back, they would, instead of telling the truth and asking if they would take a credit, especially with a lot of airlines, instead of being transparent, they would just quite simply say to them, they would lie to them to keep their money. And it was a very desperate time, and a lot of companies really lowered their colours, and a lot of them, I would even say, showed their true colours through the process, which was very disappointing to see.
Okay, so you have challenged industries like the aviation, insurance, and banking industry. So is there a pattern that you see that across these different corporations?
Correct. Across different industries, you mean? Yeah, across different industries. There's people in so many different industries that are doing the wrong thing, because like with any industry at all, you've got your good seeds and you've got your bad ones, and the bad ones are always going to do the wrong thing, irrespective of what they're selling or what they're doing for whatever they're doing. They're going to be dodgy and do the wrong thing by people if they're if they're that way inclined, whereas the honest people are always going to be honest. So whether it be insurance or cars or travel agents or airlines or it's the list goes on. People that owe people money and close down a company and reopen as another company. There are so many examples that I could give, but it's a matter of honesty versus dishonesty. It's that simple.
Yeah. So, You appeared in Senate committee of advocating for stronger consumer protections, right?
I do. I've had clients in South Africa. I've had clients in Namibia. I've had clients throughout Europe. I've had clients throughout the USA, all over the world. But I am based in Australia. Yes.
Okay, so how did that go with the Senate committee?
Sorry, what was that?
How did it go when you appeared before the Senate committee advocating for stronger consumer protections? What was the outcome?
How did it go?
Yeah.
How did it come for me to start going for the protections?
How did it go after the Senate committee that you went for, you appeared before, advocating for stronger consumer protections? What was the outcome of you appearing before the Senate committee?
Oh, the outcome. The outcome was good. Well, if you're talking, sorry, it's a little bit. The line is a little bit crackly for some reason. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, you're a little bit crackly. That's why I'm struggling a bit. But if I understand you correctly, it's how long after did I start going for the protections?
Adam, okay, wait. Let me just say it again. Adam, tell us the results of you appearing before Senate committee advocating for stronger consumer protection.
It's well, time will tell. I've been in front of two Senate committees. One in 2024, one in 2020. I think it was last year, 25 and 26. And I put my case forward just like other advocates did, and the airlines and whatever else. And it's nothing has been decided yet. But I certainly, I was up there talking with other people for close to an hour on both occasions, and put some fairly compelling things in front of the senators in order to get hopefully some better protection with the airlines in Australia, because Australia is an embarrassment. To me, we're close to the worst. We're certainly the worst amongst Australia and Europe and the USA and the UK and Thailand. Very, very, very few protections for the average Australian with the airlines. And I'm trying to make sure that we get what we deserve here, which is for the airlines not to get away with whatever they effectively get away with murder. They can do whatever they like to customers and not have to pay for it.
Okay, thank you so much. So, do you think corporations respond differently when consumers understand their rights and push back?
They respond differently. Corporations do respond differently when customers try to get justice, and a lot of the time, one consistent that they've normally got is they've got things in place to make sure that customers do not speak to decision makers. So they have people answering the phones that have no authority whatsoever, and even if this person, the phone call with them sounds encouraging, the next time they make a call, normally the person that they speak to has no idea what the last person. I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to everyone. They've got no idea what the last person had said, and they have to start again. And they do that deliberately to try to get the customers to give up. And what your job as the customer is to make sure that you don't threaten them. What you do is you make it clear that if they don't do the right thing, that it will be a hell of a lot worse for them than for you. And some of the ways to do that, and sometimes it's just a matter of talking like a human being. And what I mean by that is, a lot of the time, when you call a call center, it's very robotic. Like they've got a pitch in front of them, and they've got a objection handling where they can only say 2 or 3 different things, even if it doesn't make sense to what you're asking. And they're very much, as I said, robotic. And it's a matter of getting them to not look at the script and talk to them like a human being. I regularly would say to people, throw away the script. Let's talk like two people, because we are two people. And I would say to them sometimes, just just pretend that your mother was in this situation, or your father, or your brother, or your sister, or your partner. How would that make you feel if they were being treated like this over the phone? And a lot of the time, that makes them think to themselves, you know what? It is not fair. They're not being treated, this person is not being treated properly, and I'm going to do whatever I can. And sometimes they also continue to treat you badly and to not take into consideration what you should be entitled to. And they're the times where I'll actually say to them that I'll say to them, look, with this, I want other people. I want other people to also know about the appalling customer service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a review, or I'm going to report it to. It's difficult in Australia because there's very few places that you can report things that actually are worthwhile. Most of them are very much a waste of taxpayers' dollars. But either you're going to report it, or you're going to do a social media review, or you might say that you're going to go and you're going to make sure that you get it into the mainstream media to warn other people about using their product or service. And when you do that, even if they're not a decision maker, a lot of the time what they'll do is they'll actually put you through to someone that can actually help you, because suddenly it's not about them doing the right thing, because it's obvious that whichever company this is, they don't want to do the right thing, but it's about mitigating their risk. So it's about lowering their risk that they've actually got, and they might just pay you to shut you up and to make sure that you don't go to publicise the issue. So there's a number of things that you can do to make sure that you actually get justice.
All right. So for someone listening right now who believes a company has taken advantage of them, what is the first step they should take?
The first step that they should say, depending on which country they're in, I'm not sure what. I know that you've got some reasonable protections, I believe, in South Africa, from what I've been told. It's depending on where in the world they are. Like in America, they've got the BBB, which is the Better Business Bureau, and you should firstly you call them up and you say that you're going to be reporting it. If you've already tried a few times, you're going to be reporting it. Make sure, and this is something that a lot of people don't do. I'm not a lawyer, as I said, so I don't know all the laws. But the beautiful thing about internet and AI these days is that everything is at your fingertips. So make sure that even if you're using something like an AI, like whether it be a ChatGPT or a Claude or whatever it may be, what you can always do is you can always put into there, I'm based in, Australia or South Africa or England, and this is what happened to me with this company. What are my entitlements? Because chances are the majority of people are not going to know what their legal entitlements are off the top of their head. Do your research and look it up, because if you've got no legal entitlement, you're trying to you're just trying to kind of appeal to their nature of being a good person by doing the right thing. And if you do have a legal grounding for your case, you explain that to them, and if they still refuse you and it's a big company, then you that's where you would take it further, and that's where I would either you could start with a social media post, or you report it to the authority or an ombudsman, whatever you might have, and you make it clear to them that you are not going anywhere until you get justice. You don't care how painful it's going to be for them. A lot of people are way too nice. They just think if they act in a nice way, they will get what they should be entitled to. But the reality is the exact opposite. If you're dealing with a crooked company, doesn't matter how nice you are, the nicer you are, the more they think they can take advantage of you. So, if they're good people, then acting in an amicable, nice way, that will work. But if they're bad people, or they are deliberately trying to hold on to your money, that's where you've got to start figuring out a way to hit them where it hurts.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam. So after everything that you have seen, Do you believe that the average person has more power than they realize?
Well, I don't think. I know the average person has more power than they realise. Now, I'm not going to say that the average person is going to pick up the phone or is going to go to a meeting and be like me straight away, because I've got so many years of experience in this issue. But what I will say is it's a matter of practicing and knowing that you have a lot more power than you think. And if they say that they're going to put lawyers in front of you and whatever else, you just say, beautiful, I'm in the right, so you can put whoever you bloody well want in front of me. It doesn't faze me one little bit. So it's a matter of not being scared by them, not giving in to their corporate ways, and not, and most importantly, always keep your cool. Never lose your cool, because as soon as you start screaming down that line, they know that they've got you beaten. That's why I always talk the way that I'm talking to you now, Darlington. I will always talk in a very calm fashion, and I will, if anything, like I've made a lot of CEOs and a lot of top people at businesses, I've had them swear down the line at me several times, and I just tell them they're embarrassing themselves. So it's a matter of keeping your cool, because remember, if you know that you're in the right, and you are going to do whatever it takes to get the justice, you've got to make sure that you're persistent, that you keep your cool, you look up what your legal entitlements are, and even if you don't have that legal right, I go on something called the pub test, which means, if you're like, are they doing the right thing or the wrong thing without even looking at the law? We all know whether something is right to do or wrong to do. And if you think it's the wrong thing, I would keep fighting it, and you just figure out a way, the best way to make sure that you get justice. I do not care what I have got to do to get justice for my clients. I will go to every length possible to make, obviously all of it 100% legal, to make sure that I get them what they deserve.
Adam, thank you for sharing your experience and showing people that they don't have to feel powerless when dealing with large corporations. Your work highlights an important lesson. Understanding your rights and being willing to stand up for yourself can completely change the outcome, whether it's an airline, bank, insurer, or any major company. Consumers deserve to be held and treated fairly. So, Adam, is there a question you wish I would have asked you that I did not ask you?
I think you covered it really well, mate. I think you covered it all really well.
All right, thank you so much. So, for those that would like to connect with you and learn more about what you do, how can they do that?
They can go. I've got a website. It's being redone at the moment because it's pretty ordinary right now. It's just www. The name of my business, which is Consumer Champion, all one word, .com.au.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. This has been a very exciting episode. Thanks you to all my audience as well. You guys are the reason why we are able to do this. So if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share this conversation with someone who needs to know they have more power than they think. Thank you so much, Adam, for coming to Control or Be Controlled.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right.